how different is it dealing with the laws that we go by in the States, let alone dealing with somebody that you're representing who's in Romania?
The defense can't really respond to it as far as to address the details because there's an ongoing investigation. You're not supposed to be talking about those facts, so you're really at a disadvantage.
Whether it's Michael Jackson, whether it's Jussie, that was very controversial. How different is it dealing with the laws that we go by in the States, let alone dealing with somebody that you're representing who's in Romania? Do you have to, are you working with their laws?
Typically in high profile cases already, there are so many additional factors that go into representing a client that isn't there in a standard case, when the attorneys actually just get to focus on their defense, on the legal strategy, and it's very clear cut. The high profile cases to begin with, once information is, and it's almost exclusively leaked by the prosecution or the police, the information comes out, it's always out of context. The defense can't really respond to it as far as to address the details because there's an ongoing investigation. You're not supposed to be talking about those facts, so you're really at a disadvantage. You know, already in a high profile case, you're dealing with the court of public opinion, everything that's coming out, combating the misinformation that's circulating. And so those are challenges. I have not actually been able to visit the Tate brothers in jail. While I was in Bucharest, I went numerous times to the jail with my Romanian colleagues. We took all the paperwork, and I was told that it's ultimately the prosecutor's decision, and the prosecutor until now still hasn't approved the request. You're in a different time zone. All of the documents are in the Romanian language, so we have to have everything translated, or I'm relying on my Romanian counsel to interpret things for me. Their system is different, so it's, you know, and the politics of it are different. So it's certainly very challenging.
Is that a protocol that the prosecutor can use according to the Romanian laws to not allow you to meet with your client?
So unfortunately, I don't think it's very common for U.S. attorneys, or I should say even attorneys who are not Romanian, to be trying to visit Romanian clients in jail. So it's not a common occurrence to begin with. And according to my Romanian counsel, they say this is how it works. It's standard. Now, if this was not the Tate brothers, would this have been approved by now? I'm not sure.
Is this a common thing that Romania does as a government, to say whether we have you or not, you got to be in here? Some of the times people don't know, they live around the world. American laws are different than Romanian laws, are different than German or UK. What are some of the criteria that you can use to get them to be at least at home while they're going through this?
This is very unusual for us because this is not how our system works here in the US. Typically, and it varies a little bit by jurisdiction, but typically they have 48 hours to, hold you before they either have to charge you or release you. Romania has a different procedure, and they refer to it as preventative arrest, where they initially held the Tate brothers for 24 hours, and then they applied for a 30-day extension. And as you correctly said, they can extend that up to 180 days. This is really contrary to our notions of justice, which is that, pretrial deprivation is really to be a measure of last resort, unless there's substantial factors warranting keeping somebody in custody, that they should be out. The process is very different in Romania than we're used to here in the US, and I think a lot of other places.
Are you on a overdrive of learning all the laws, and you're reading this and that to see what the adjustments are? Are you looking at all the cases? Is that kind of what you're going through as an individual?
Definitely. I'm doing a lot of research on how the Romanian process works, reading some of their cases and some decisions even by the European courts as to how they've applied Romanian law and whether they've sanctioned this type of conduct. For me, it's much easier to deal with as the attorney on the outside. It's much harder to see my clients who are in jail, and it makes my job a lot harder when I can't easily communicate with them.
If that happened in America, you could make calls to get Congress or somebody, a senator or a congressman or a congresswoman, to make the call and say, what is this all about? You can't be doing this. If you have a political figure, let's just say you have a political figure, and if they're a Democrat, the president's Democrat, well, you make the phone call. Hey, listen, this is if you have a Republican, Trump saying, hey, Roger Stone, hey, you got this. What is going on over here? Can you guys make the call? This doesn't make any sense. Who can you call to say this is not a fair thing they're doing?
I mean, who I did call when I was in Bucharest was the U.S. Embassy to see if I could get assistance with this. But they pretty much just deferred me to my Romanian counsel and said I have to work with them and follow the procedure that they recommend. So ultimately, they weren't really much help in me trying to achieve that.
How much of that has to be with him calling out the people in power? They're like, if there's anybody we're not helping, we are definitely not helping Tate.
I certainly would think in a case that didn't involve maybe Andrew Tate, that the U.S. Embassy would have been more helpful when it involved a U.S. citizen.